The most difficult thing I have as my task is to explain something so you'll be motivated to go out and say, I want to fix this. I want to change this. I want to be armed with and by this knowledge, not just understand it. The Fani Willis case, to try to explain it. Why is it important? Why is it critical? It's about lawfare. It's about lawfare, and it's about the deliberate use of focused jurisdictional legal procedures to quash and destroy a political opponent. Yesterday's her testimony was not about that. It was two different interpretations. Very, very good, by the way. And this is something which is difficult. How do you explain to people? Recognize what the enemy is thinking, recognize what they're saying, or else you're not going to be able to function. Recognize this. When you go on a lot of shows or watch people, they will tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to know, not what's critical to know, not what you have to grasp. They will tell you what you want to hear. They will never tell you, but wait, here's a good part. Here's a good part. Wait a minute, here's a counter. Our argument is not 100% perfect. It's not infallible. They don't do that. They don't do this. And one of the examples of what we're seeing is people who become so angry. Angry. Classic. Israel, Palestine, Gaza. Unbelievable. The anger, the absolute anger. That is the anger. This is the thing which is so important. I never get angry in my discussions. Never. I don't get angry. I don't get angry. I really don't. I don't understand anger. I don't get angry at people. I don't lose my temper. I don't get angry because you don't see something my way. I don't even know what that means. Why would I get upset because you and I disagree about Trump? Or disagree about Fani Willis, or disagree about Israel, or disagree, or whatever the hell it is that we disagree with. Why would I ever do that? I never do that. I don't do that. What's the matter with this? So we're going to be talking about today is something really, really important, really, really critical, which is not just, here's this topic, let me see what you think about this. It's more about fleshing out the issues, making it more palatable, making it more understandable, so that you can say, I understand it, I get this. Now, if you understand it and it never goes anywhere, everything that I think has as its goal a vote. Everything. If you and I decide that we have figured out Israel, Palestine, Gaza, and we don't direct that to a vote, what do we waste? We're just wasting our time. What does that mean? Do you just want to know stuff just for knowing it? Sometimes it's like some knowledge is like when you go to university or go to college or whatever. You take a particular case, you study something, whatever, you learn philosophy or Shakespeare or something. You don't really do anything with it. It doesn't turn into anything. It's not really there's no object to it. But this is different. If this doesn't turn into a vote, we're wasting our time. Now, my friends, let me say something to you right now. I can't say it enough. It is critical for you to make sure you are subscribed and make sure you hit that like button and make sure you hit that little bell, because today, later on, I've got a really weird schedule. So I might do a live. We're not going to do one tonight at 7, but I might do one at 3 o'clock. And unless you are subscribed, you're going to miss it. And that is an absolute fact. All right. Okay, dear friends. Now listen, before we begin, here's a very important sponsor, a sponsor whom I love, a sponsor who has weathered the storm, and a sponsor who makes some of the best products made in our country. The product is called mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, and it goes something like this. Well, it is time yet again, my friends, to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you'll get a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I know, a free gift. It's a tautology, so sue me. But first, please listen. What are we talking about here? Down comforters, flannel sheets, Giza Dream bed sheets, My Pillow 2.0 sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Literally name it. Items to help you luxuriate and relax. And they're monster sellers. Slippers, my slippers. That's right, slip-ons, moccasins. Think about it. What do they do at My Pillow? They make things real soft and plush and comfy. How perfect. Now here's the link. mypillow.com promo code Lionel, or mypillow.com /Solidus or Virgil /Lionel, or call 800-645-4965. And watch how fast Mike answers the phone. mypillow.com promo code Lionel, simply and absolutely the best. Now, my friends, let me start off by saying something to you, and this is critical, and I hope nobody takes it the wrong way. This is different than my doing a regular, piece or whatever. This is supposed to be interactive, and when I see a lot of folks doing this on their shows, I think to myself, why are you doing this? Why are you making this a live event? Why? Maybe so that people can talk at the same time. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's to encourage contributions, which is always understandable, certainly. Or maybe it's kind of a reflex, but what's the point of this? I mean, we can do this, but you got to ask, what is the purpose of this live event? What am I doing? What is the purpose? So that you, number one, there's a group of people right now. Most people are listening to this later on. They are not doing this live. Most people do not read any of the live comments. They don't read any of the comments afterwards. They don't see any of the live commentary. They're hearing this later on in a different function. You got to keep that in mind. Number two, there are people who meet every day and they sort of know each other. You know each other through the years, through, it's like a family, where you get together and you meet and you talk and you chat and others. There are other people who like the notion of listening to something in real time and acknowledging it and talking about it. That's why this is the future of all interactive, communicative news and the like. This is why it's it. This is why. This is what the future is. Because up to now, you watch something and you're just watching it and they're doing it and you are kind of in the audience. You're not even a part of it. And whether it's whomever, I don't know what it is, Tucker or Alex Jones or whoever you're watching or it doesn't matter. You're watching it. And yet you're not. You're watching it, but you can or cannot interact. That's the beauty of the future. That's why stuff. I was listening before, driving the other day to AM talk radio, and it stuck in 1985. Let's take, for example, what is the issue regarding Fani Willis? What is the issue? Let me ask you, what's the main issue? Why is Fani Willis so important? Why? Well, let me tell you what it is. I can give you the textbook answer. I can tell you other people's answer, but it doesn't really matter. If you're interested, you're drawn to it. Fani Willis, to most people, first and foremost, is an arrogant, entitled brat. Somebody who is absolutely a disgrace to public service. And somebody who immediately is brought up in the old school that when the shit hits a fan, blame race. It's racist. It's racism. So you love that. You love that. Anytime somebody goes to that, it's because he's gay. It's because of it. No, it's not. Absolutely not. You were the one who brought up race. We didn't. You did. You live by race. You die by race. Race is that you are a concatenation and an inculcation of race. You are first and foremost Black, African American, not even a woman. Black, it is your brand, and you will bring it up no matter what, even though nobody else is doing it. You bring it up. So that's where the racial component is you. So that's an aspect of it. That's an aspect of it. It's believe me, nobody, when you talk about Victoria Nuland, I don't think anybody's brought up the fact that she's a woman. Maybe. She doesn't bring it up. Nobody brings it up. It's her policy, it's what she does, is what she, but nobody says it's a woman, another strong woman. Even to an extent, people like Hillary Clinton never brings it up. No, 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 no. There is no subject. There is no subject that it comes up. Maybe anti-Semitism. We'll get to that in a moment. Maybe, because that's a little different. But racism, first and foremost, you must understand, racism is the cop-out. Race, Black, African American, whatever, it's a cop-out that nobody cares about. White people don't care about. Nobody cares about, except when white people are called racist or white nationalists by Black people, because it's all some people have. Let me say this again. To some people, it's all they have. It's a commodity. It's a label. It's a cudgel. It's hackneyed. It's absolutely intellectually disingenuous. It's wrong. Name it. Name the particular word. You know it, and I know it. We have been hit with race. There is no topic, none, not sexuality, not gender, not religion, not nationality, not intelligence, not looks, not ethnicity. Nothing in this country has been rammed down our throats more than race, Black, African American, Black, people of color, by Black people. Not all Black people, some Black people who sometimes, when you don't know what to say, that's it. They've made a career out of racial arson. Jesse Jackson, maybe not initially, but later on he did, before he became too gone. Al Sharpton, who has been completely sidelined. Completely sidelined. And when Fani Willis comes along and nobody brought up race, nobody cared about it. Nobody, I hate to break it to you, but nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about race. Nobody. It's 2024. It just doesn't matter. And this may be this may be in and of itself racist for you to say race doesn't matter. We don't like you because of you, not because of your race. You're incompetent because of you, not because of your race. You're incompetent of you. It's what you've done, not because of your race. We don't care about that. Yes, you do. No, we don't. So Fani Willis came along, and here's the deal. And I'm going to say this again to you. This is what it's about. This is why it's so critical. Had she said, and I was listening to Dershowitz and other people every now, they're on my YouTube iPad link. They just pop up. They pop up. Megyn Kelly. There's this rotation, so to speak. I guess because I talk about it or research it. I'm on some kind of algorithm. And they bring up, they miss the point completely as to why this is the most important. Number one, Judge McAfee should deny the motion because they have not said, because whatever she has said, proved or not proved, as far as the relationship between Fani and Nathan, that is irrelevant to prove or to show or to allege or to flesh out the notion of this thing called conflict of interest. Doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is the part. I don't know where this came. Ashley Merchant came along with this idea. She said, well, let me give it a shot. Let me see if I can push this. Let me see if I can promote this. Who knows? And then that kind of went nowhere. But the perjury kicked in. So it went from conflict of interest to perjury. And then later on, it went to obstruction of justice and witness tampering and other things as well. That's the issue. Not, and did you prove that they went on the trip together? Do you have the receipts? Did she pay cash? Does she keep a safe in her house to keep the money from the cash? Might be interesting where she got the cash from her election account or her campaign account, which might be kind of sort of different. But anyway, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. The point is, all of these issues, all of these that started from initially this concern of conflict of interest, that went away. The second is this. I don't hear people talking about this. I don't know why. I'm not going to critique other people. I don't know what the story is. I have no idea. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. And I spend most of my time saying that's not the issue. That's not the issue. I spend my time also telling friends of mine, changing subjects now to Israel. And if you are a conservative today and you are from the Rush Limbaugh School of 1985 conservatism, AM talk radio conservatism, you have to be 100% in lockstep, joined at the hip with whatever the Israeli government says if you want to be a conservative. A 1985 Rush Limbaugh Fox News conservative. You understand what I'm saying? Paleo conservative. 1985, prototypical, classic. And you have to wear blind, and you have to know nothing but this rule. If you want to be on a station, and if you want to maintain your status, just like in the old days, and by the way, this has nothing to do, let me get to this moment. There was an old day, during the old days, when people didn't like what I said, was I did not share my hatred of Bill Clinton. On talk radio stations, you had to hate Bill Clinton, and you had to advocate for his impeachment and conviction based upon lying about sexual activity. I thought that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. They did not like this because in order to be a 1985 Rush Limbaugh conservative, you had to do this. You hear what I'm saying? You had to do it. You could not in any way, and I say this again, you could not in any way be short of that. Okay. There was one of the best examples of some of the most stupid, circular argument that wasn't the issue. And it was probably by the greatest proponent of this. I'll leave the name out. Let me give you an example. It starts off with this one particular person. They had a kind of a Palestinian. What's really Palestinian? I think it was Indian in nation. Doesn't really matter. So we have this one person. He says, "Do you believe this is March of 2024? Okay, October the 7th, 2023. We're in March. Okay, this is where it starts off. Question number one: do you believe the attack by Hamas on October the 7th was a terrorist act? Do you believe that Hamas is a terrorist organization? And does Israel have the right to defend itself?" You got it? March. Was Hamas or is Hamas a terrorist organization? Was it a terrorist attack? And does Israel have the right to defend itself? Now, that doesn't even begin to even address what it was about. And I kind of give up because I'm thinking that's not the issue. That's not what you should be looking at. If you want to get to the bottom of this, it would be like saying, if you were to say, why were we in Vietnam? If you say, do you believe that communism is a threat to the United States? What does that have to do with it? Do you believe that? Yeah, I do. Oh, there you go. Wait a minute. That question has nothing to do with this. I am trying to meet in my life a racist. I think I knew one. I'm serious. I mean, a person who says from the beginning, I hate all black people. I don't want to have any black people. I'm not. I'm not. As opposed to, I don't like what this guy's saying. I don't like, that's the usual thing. I think Al Sharpton's a jerk. That's not a racist. I think I knew one. White supremacist. I don't even know what that means. Let me ask you something. What is a white? Can you be a white supremacist in this country? Of course you can. Once you define it, can you be a black supremacist? Yes. Can you be a black inferiorist? Can you believe that either blacks are superior, blacks are inferior, whites are superior? You can think whatever you want. I don't care. That's why this whole pedophile thing. You can think if you're attracted to cannibalism. I don't care. I don't care what you think. You think whatever you want. Don't do it, but think whatever you want. You can think whatever you want. Okay. I have not met anybody who is anti-Semitic. I swear to God. Now there were, and I know it's there. That word has been hit. The mental fatigue is at such a level. It's hit racism. And I don't understand this one particular show. Why is it? Why is it that if people who claim to be anti-Semitic, who are either Zionists or anti-Zionists, I don't understand it. If a Jew, an actual proponent, a practitioner of Judaism, is an anti-Zionist, is he anti-Semitic? No. Let me get into this now. This is where we're still locked into this. What is a terrorist organization? Is the United States a terrorist organization? Ask the people in Japan that we bombed with this movie Oppenheimer that has as much to do with history as Gilligan's Island with Atlantis. And though I think there's a company. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? This is the most incredible thing in the world. What are we talking? We are stuck with this. We are stuck with this. Do you hear what I'm saying? We are stuck. And the bottom line is simply this. Let me ask you something. What does President Trump do? And what does Gavin Newsom do regarding Israel when it comes up for election time? What does he do? What does Trump do? What does Gavin Newsom do regarding Ukraine? What is the position that the country has regarding war? What is this? Now, these are legitimate issues. Is anybody talking about this? No. Do you feel conversant with the issue? No. No, you don't. You don't. Because nobody's spending any time discussing this thing with you. Do you believe there's a two-state solution? Yes or no? Who believes there's a two-state solution? You got to answer this question. Who believes there's a two-state solution regarding Israel and Palestine? Anybody? Who believes there's a two-state solution? Do you? Do you? Anybody? Anybody? Then I'm waiting a little bit because there's a delay. Jerry says no. Nope. Trump not a warmonger. I think you're correct with that. I think Trump is going to maintain his position. He's been very, very clear regarding Israel and Netanyahu. Netanyahu, I don't know. See, Netanyahu's a different story. But there is no two-state solution. This is ridiculous. None. It's ridiculous. I don't know where this came from. Where did you ever can two people living in this? What? Two states? No. Well, why do we say that then? What is the answer? Where is this thing going? It's going to rip everybody apart, everything apart. This is the most incredible thing in the world. I heard the other day, this is so funny. There's this guy who's on TV, on whatever, and he said, listen to me. He said, well, international agencies and whatever have declared Hamas a terrorist organization. Oh, okay. Those same people said that Israel is committing genocide. Now, wait a minute. Stop right there. Do you acknowledge their jurisdiction or don't? And if you don't, then how do you say this? We are into bad words. Genocide, worst word there is. Worst word. Change it. Get rid of it. They get hung up on. They get hung. This is brilliant in a way. Don't call it genocide. Call it anything but that. If you do, we're going nowhere with this. We're going nowhere. Don't call it genocide. Don't call it genocide. Even though even though the international treaties may have a definition of it, even though the Genocide Convention may have a definition of it, even though the definition is completely different than what you think. Because I think when we all think of genocide, we think of cattle cars and the Holocaust and 6 million. And and that would be certainly, but that's what we think. But that's not according to the definition of it. So you got to change that word. You got to change that word. Just like going back to Fani Willis. The issue was not conflict of interest. The issue was obstruction of justice, witness tampering, lying, perjury, and basically having complete and total contempt for the whole system. To disqualify an office, not because of conflict of interest, but because they have shown that they have. Going back to Fani, if Fani was charged with murder, plagiarism, financial impropriety, and whatever, do you think the judge could say, I'm going to have to disqualify you on behalf of the people of Fulton County because you cannot be treated fairly? You cannot. Do you think that will happen? Of course it will. Imagine this. Imagine I'm changing. I'm going back and forth now so that you don't get confused. Some people say, is he talking about this? Is he talking about this? Yeah. The issue that I have is very simply this, dear friends. Listen carefully. Do you think there would be a basis to remove her from this if she had committed murder? Yes. So let's get off of this. It's what you call things, okay? Stop by for a second. Stand by. Stop by. You are stopping by. Stand by for a second because I'm going to talk to you about something very, very interesting. There was an article yesterday that came out, or the other day that came out regarding prepping. Let's talk about it. And prepping is this pejorative term for crazy white people who think that the black helicopters are coming and they want to have their guns and whatever it is. And anyway, they believe it. Okay. So the issue becomes, and I think it's very interesting. The issue then becomes, is prepping, is it rational? Does it make sense to you? And they even said, and guess who are doing it? Black people are doing it. People of color. Really? Even they're doing it. This is the most racist I've ever heard in my life. It's like, what? Do they think differently? See, the racism that we hear, I'm kind of blending in a spot with this, is when you show alarm and disbelief over things that make no sense whatsoever. So to make a long story short, preparewithlionel.com is it. This is about emergency food, and this is the premier company, My Patriot Supply. Go and listen very carefully and start investing. Think of this as crypto. Think of it as investing in disaster, which you know is going to happen. Let's talk about a very serious subject, emergency food. That's right, emergency food. I know. At first blush, it's difficult for most people to think about something that they just take for granted, ever reaching emergency status. We're used to stores always being open, deliveries always made, no supply chain disasters, no ransomware catastrophes, none of that stuff. Nothing shutting down our gas stations, right? No trucking strikes, no war, no protests from farmers, nothing catastrophic in terms of weather. Nope, that can't happen to us. And I understand it's a defense mechanism that we have because the idea of ever not being able to eat or locate food is seemingly incomprehensible. Well, it's not. That's why it's time for you to go to my site, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com has the deal of deals for you. Now, take it as a starter set. You've been putting off emergency food for too long. Some people still have a thing about prepping as though preparing for emergency is foolish. Now, right now, you can save $60 on a 4-week emergency supply kit. This is unbelievable. 16 varieties with a 25-year shelf life, 2,000 calories a day in 2 beautifully modular buckets that weigh 38 pounds total. These are waterproof and they're perfectly stackable. 4 weeks, a month. Now, be honest, could you go a week without any trips to any store? I'm not talking about having stuff in your cabinet. I'm not talking about banana chips and jerky. I mean food, real food. So go right now to preparewithlionel.com, right now, right this moment, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. You'll thank me, trust me. Yesterday, there was the hearing. I don't know if you saw any of that. kind of interesting. It's a complete and total waste of time. Let me see if I can explain this to you. It's a Jim Jordan production. It's a waste of time. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. It's like Biden's laptop. Nothing. Nothing will come of it. It's a waste of time. It's a total waste of time. And nobody cares at all. Nobody cares. It looks good though, but whatever. And this gentleman had no idea he would be just savaged by both sides equally. Because you, in any event, it was a sideshow. But one of the things that they did, and this is the talking point of the Democrats, is that Donald Trump has lost his mind. And Donald Trump, they said that Donald Trump sometimes would refer to Obama as so-and-so. Donald Trump would he would mistake this person with that person. Okay, fine. Now, let me explain something to you. If you think for a moment that you're trying to compare in any way the mental wherewithal of Donald Trump with Joe Biden, you are insulting my intelligence if you do that. If you dare suggest for a moment, if you are in any way suggesting or making any kind of a comparison or anything to do by suggesting that Donald Trump may be saying the wrong name or confusing in one instance is the same with a man shuffling, showing all of the indications, all of the indicia of Parkinson's and the like. If you think that, if you honestly believe that this man who did the, if you think in any way that the two were, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you think there is any, and I mean anything, even remotely similar, you have lost any and all whatever credibility there is. Do you understand this? You have lost all credibility there is. If you in any way suggest in the slightest that there is anything in the least, because and whether this has been exacerbated and enhanced by virtue of what he's doing, could be. This is Biden, of course, but it's an insult. It's an insult to me and everybody else, because what we're seeing with him is beyond anything like that. It transcends it. Okay, transcends it. Now let me ask you this question. And I came upon this, and I want you to tell me what you think about this, and I want you to respond, because maybe you know something about this, but this is a big deal. Okay, this is a big deal, and this is an article from Newsweek, and maybe you can tell me about this. Maybe you're familiar with this. I have no idea, but what do you think about this? And the title of this. This is Today New. This is Newsweek now. Candace Owens bets career on politician's wife being a man. : terrifying. Let me read this to you. Conservative commentator Candace Owens said she would bet her career that French President Emmanuel Macron's wife, Brigitte, is a man. Quote, after looking into this, I would stake my entire professional reputation on the fact that Brigitte Macron is in fact a man. This is what she said on Twitter, on her Twitter account, on her Twitter, or maybe whatever it is. Okay, let me move back and move here. Any journalist or publication that is trying to dismiss this plausibility is immediately identifiable as establishment. I have never seen anything like this in my life. The implications here are terrifying. Now, let me ask you, is this terrifying? What's your first take on that? And what's your take? Owen spoke in depth about the long-standing conspiracy theory. Again, conspiring. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's a rumor. It's not a conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theories are an illegal confederation. Okay, you know the story. Owens spoke in depth about the outstanding conspiracy theory during Monday's episode of her podcast, arguing that if Bridget really wanted to debunk those claims, she would simply release photos from the first 30 years of her life. Analyzing a rare family photo of Bridget as a baby, Owen said Bridget was a dead ringer for her brother, and thus they were really the same person. Okay. Last year, a French court fined 2 women for promoting the conspiracy about Bridget, and a now deleted YouTube video in 2021. Psychic Amandine Roy and self-described freelance journalist Natasha Ray claimed in a 4-hour video that the First Lady was born as a boy by the name of whatever. Okay. Now, let me ask you something. What do you think about that? Is this relevant? Is this interesting? I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like, well, that's interesting. Now, I don't want to give you the old, okay. For some reason, this subject bores me. This is what they do to Michelle Obama. This is what they do. What is this? And I mean this. Please explain this fascination. Why is this even important? Why, out of all the things to do? I think the story of stories is Kate Middleton's disappearance. That is the story of stories. And I am not telling you what I'm not guessing. I'm not guessing. I'm not telling you kind of what I'm hearing. I'm hearing some wild stuff. But this is Daily Mail. Conservative pundit Candace Owens says she'll stake her entire reputation and professional career on the wild conspiracy theory. On the wild conspiracy theory that French lady Bridget Macron was born a man. Now let me ask you something. This is how I look at this. This is just me, and maybe you can help me with this. First, if somebody was born a man, or born a female, and by the way, there are a lot of stories about this. Do you feel that there's a part of you that says, you know what, that's kind of just mean? Now, I know that sounds weird, and people will say, mean? What's mean? Yeah, mean. Just mean. You know what I mean? Just mean. What's the point of that? Why are you doing this, number one? Number two, if it did happen, and I say, so what? It's not against the law. This is really transphobic. This is kind of what they say. This is really the deal about transphobia. This is it. If you found out that somebody was secretly gay and you say, I'm going to bet my career on, okay, I'm going to out somebody. I never understood that, especially when there are people who out others who are themselves gay or members of gay organizations. Look, if somebody wants to keep this thing quiet, it might be for good reason, whatever, but there's nothing wrong with it. So what am I outing? He's, like one time we have a mayor, Eric Adams, who says, I'm a vegan. Well, maybe he's not. He's eating fish and okay, fine. Who cares? He's trying something. There's like this level of petty where you get to the, unless somebody is, making money off of something and they're really false pretenses or something. Oh, I'll tell you one thing that's interesting. If you are promoting, let's say, a weight loss program and you're taking Ozempic and you're losing money, interesting pun, and you're losing weight, not because of the whatever, but because of the Ozempic. Now, I think that's not outing. That's critical. That's important. But why is this? This is so mean. This is just mean. And it's angry. And it goes to show me about you. It's like, what are you angry about? It's like people, okay, if somebody is whatever, okay, all right. I never understood. I hated this Michelle Obama mocking her. First of all, she didn't run for office. He did. Second, and I know Joan Rivers, and they didn't kill Joan Rivers because she said that. That's nonsense. But there's something. Is there anything called mean anymore? Is there anything where you say, that's even below me? Do you have a level? Do you have anything where you say, you know what? This is just beneath me. John McGuire couldn't get higher, says, regarding can dance. I like that. Is that a pun or a misspelling? I like this. I think her theory somewhere in the back of her head proves that the evil Satan cabal exists. In my opinion, is just random gossip along the line of Richard Gere and hamsters. Well, I got to tell you something. I that the Richard Gere thing was, to me, again, I never put much credence in this. I just like the fact that there are these things that we grew up with. Rock Hudson and Jim Neighbors were married. The kid Mikey, remember him from, hey, Mikey, he likes it. Mikey died from eating Pop Rocks and Coke or something like that. I mean, just there's all these things. Jerry Mathers, the Beaver, was really Alice Cooper, or Alice Cooper and Eddie. I mean, there's all these things. And I found out years ago that one of my best buddies, he was born in the South Bronx. He's exactly my age. We were at two parts of the country, and we heard the same stories without anybody writing them down. So that's interesting. I suggest, as an armchair person, John, I thank you for this. I think that Candace Owens is just angry. I think she is so angry. She's not a happy person. Now this is just gratuitous. And somehow the way she goes, I'll bet my career on this. It's okay. Take it easy. Take it easy. Why are you getting upset? And let's assume it's true. Okay, fine. I have you ever known people who may have? There's a couple of folks in Hollywood who historically, I don't know anything about the truth of this, but they've always said, oh yeah, she was born. Okay, fine. Let me see if I can explain this. As you know, when certain things cleave, when there's meiosis, when there's cellular division, when there's hormonal, whatever it is, and I know that sometimes some things can go wrong. Okay, little wrong. There was do you know the number of people who have an additional digit, an additional toe? The number of women who, listen to me, have an additional nipple? Not an areola, but sometimes there's maybe sometimes there have a twin that could have been. There are things that go wrong. Lobes are weird, and you might whatever. Okay, so what? And if there are people who, for whatever it's worth, were born for reasons that are, and I would say it's none of our business, because being none of our business never stopped any of us before. That's what we do, because everything we talk about is none of our business. But there's a meanness here. There's an anger. And the issue is simply this. It's one thing when you say that Macron's wife is really, she was a bank robber and a criminal and hurt people. Okay, maybe, that might be interesting, She's on the lam. She's a serial killer, and she was identified. Her real name was Jacqueline Bugeaud, and she was okay. That might be good. That might now. That's interesting. But if she was, what is with this Candace Owens? What is this anger? This anger. First, she went after with Ben Shapiro, and they're going to bounce her from. I guess I don't care. She is one of these people that I do not watch. I hear about. And you know what? Everybody has a chance. God bless them. We should have as many people as talk. But the fact that I do listen to or don't listen to, what difference does it make? I want there to be this. I want platforms to be the new success story. Because what I do see are these people who are on TV and cable. Those are the frauds. But I want to say something. There's very interesting. What is your story? What is your story? What is her story? Remember her when she, remember the Kanye West thing? Whatever happened with, I don't know. I don't really give it a lot of thought, but I'm thinking to myself, she's kind of all over the place. And there's a certain degree of anger. It's like, what motivates you? What's your real thing? What's your real, there's that thing that clicks. Is it I have my theories. I'm not going to say them because I don't know. I've never met her. But if I had to, if you forced me to write an essay and I had to do armchair Freudian psycho, I have a lot of ideas because I've been around. I met more people than you can imagine. And I met more people in context, and I've seen people in the worst ways possible because everybody's got something somewhere that you tell us, okay, because this is the story. This is the story. You don't understand somebody unless you understand where they're from, their history, their what brought them to the show. What brought them to the show? That's all I'm going to say. But assuming there's no storyline to this, is it any of our business? And let's assume it's true. Let's assume, okay, there it is. And she comes and goes, okay, I was born technically, whatever. What does this matter? What does this matter? This gives nothing but fuel to those people who call everybody transphobic. Because my thing is very simply this. If you are indeed transitioning or whatever, fine. I have one very simple thing. Just don't tell kids this. Don't tell kids that a child who doesn't even know his favorite color can one day say, I'm going to be a girl, I'm going to be a boy, and for you to move in and force puberty blocking drugs. And that's my only thing. Short of that, whatever you want. If you're an actress and you used to be something, fine. You're Dylan Mulvaney, fine. I don't care one way or another. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What you say about other people is a thing. And by the way, sometimes you got to understand something, that it would be really stupid all of a sudden to not understand the lay of the land, so to speak, when it comes to certain people. So anyway, we'll talk about that. I find it fascinating. But in my humble opinion, whatever, this is a very angry person. Angry for reasons that have nothing to do with the stories. Anger that goes back deeper and has nothing to do with getting to the bottom. I'll stake my career. You're going to stake your career on what? So what? Because I think most of us agree, we don't care about somebody's gender. We really don't. I guess that's kind of the libertarian thing, and I hate that term because there really are no such things as libertarian. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me. This doesn't matter. And there's something mean about it. There's just mean. I don't want to be mean just for the sake of being mean. You know, Michelle Obama basically was doing that. She tried to introduce better eating. She tried, and they just came. And I see people all the time. Don Jr.'s going to watch it. And there's just, that's not my thing. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's petty. It's petty. It's just how people look as the sole basis. Look, if you don't like somebody, if you're making fun of Joe Biden because he has destroyed this country, and oh, by the way, he's walking into walls, okay, that's funny. But anybody who thinks that dementia is funny in and of itself is not true. Is not true. You got to understand, what am I starting off with? I'm starting off with the fact that he destroyed our country. And then if you want to talk about hair plugs and whatever it is, that's fine. And ice cream, and that's terrific. That's all. All right, dear friends, you have a great and a glorious day. And thank you. John McGuire couldn't get hired. Thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you so much for this. I appreciate it. Let me tell you something right now that Mrs. L has an incredibly important and very, very critical site that I respond and recommend to you. It's Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. Please subscribe to her right now. Lynn's Warriors, Lynn's, Lynn's Warriors, Lynn apostrophe S on YouTube. And also Lynn's Warriors, Lynn's Lynn's_Warriors on X, whatever. And don't forget, remember, as far as I'm concerned, dear friends, please make sure you are subscribed. Now, later on today, depending upon what I'm doing, I may jump on and do a live at 3, maybe 4. I don't know. It depends. But you've got to make sure, because for this week, we have all kinds of scheduling things that are changing. So if you like this, if you dig this, if you want to meet up, make sure you're subscribed as I've indicated. All right, dear friends. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much. I think that's about it. Oh, and don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That.